To paraphrase something that I will have to say, Chuck and I are right now writing a book about our former mentor, Eddie Reese. The working title is The Wit and Wisdom of Eddie Reese, and one of the quotes that Eddie gave that Chuck grabbed, I will paraphrase and just say, those are the nice kind of words that my mom would have written. And coming from such a longtime friend, they're very much appreciated. I want to recognize a couple people at the table. I don't have a large family. I don't have any children. I do have 3 rescue dogs, and I've had 3 rescue dogs for an awful lot of years, just not the same ones. But my family right now really consists of my sister Linda, who came over from London, Ontario to be here, and she is my best and closest friend. And I don't have any blood brothers, but I do have 4 very special brothers from other mothers from a long time ago, my very dear friends from my UT days, Coach Scott Hammond and Coach Chuck Warner, and also my very good NISCA friends, and when I say brothers, I mean brothers, Arvel McElroy and Mark Onstadt. Guys, I'm sure glad you're here. And I've also got some great uncles sitting at that table, Mel Roberts and Tom Voislavovich. There are many people who have guided, assisted, molded, and befriended me in this journey, and I'd really like to acknowledge them now. But before I do, I want to say there are 11 former Hall of Fame winners that are sitting in this room right now, and to be added to that number is very humbling and very gratifying. The first NISCA person I ever met at conference was Rich Hood. I think it was in Austin way back in the day, but I walked in as a newbie and Rich was professionally dressed in coat and tie. He saw I was new. He made a beeline for me. He says, "Hi, I'm Rich Hood. So glad you're here." He made me feel so welcome, and he didn't know me from Adam. And I will also say, Rich is just one heck of a nice person. Peter Hugo, who guided and goaded me in leadership development and has not stopped. Dr. Steve Montgomery, who got me started in TISCA as a secretary, as a resurrected position, and he should bear most of the credit or blame for what followed. Longtime NISCA friends, of course, Mark Onstadt, Arvel McElroy, Mel Roberts, Tom Voislavovich, who have toiled and worked hard with me and I with them for many years on the executive board of NISCA to help steer NISCA since the turn of the current century, as well as everyone that I've had the pleasure of working with in NISCA. There are a few others who have been very influential during my path traveling this coaching career. My 2 closest friends, of course, are Chuck Warner and Scott Hammond. Scott was our keynote speaker here at the NISCA conference, and he said something a couple days ago about how we have been impacted by our mentors, and we impact those that we mentor. There may be nothing as important as how we connect and prepare our kids for life. More important than even preparing them to swim fast, more important than the times. The relationships we cultivate and the lessons we teach will be remembered and treasured longer than those times will be remembered, than those races that we swam. Chuck and I and Scott learned a lot from the master, Eddie Reese, during our short time at Texas, but we continue to learn from him these many years later. And this is one of the latest things. This is from about a year and a half ago. From Eddie Reese, everyone on the team is equal and important. Care for each other and take care of each other. Now, how you got started is probably different than the way I got started, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. When I was in 10th grade in high school, I wanted to go out for swimming because it was the only thing that my mother would allow me to do. Didn't want me playing football because we just got braces, and she says we're not going to lose those. And I had a friend who's, on the day of swim team tryouts, said, let's go bowling. And I went, okay, let's go bowling. And my mother said, really? You've planned for this tryouts for weeks now, and you're going to go bowling and give it up. So I called my friend and I said, I'm going to swim team tryouts. My mom was a swimmer when she was a very young person. She got second place in Georgia, I think, as a walk-up. Things were a little different in those days. You didn't have to really enter ahead of time. You could walk up and enter a swim meet. We still have her second place medal from that meet when she was 13. So she got me started. My high school coach, Scott Ross, sunk the hook in me like we do to some of our kids by saying, my goodness, that's a good-looking stroke you've got there. Certainly you've been on a swim team before. Well, I kept coming back because he realized if you hook them and you make them believe in themselves, you're going to keep them a little bit longer. Dick Bauer was my coach in college at Tulane University. Everything I did when I first started coaching was a takeoff of what I had learned during practices when I was in college. And all of my coaching friends, so many of you in here, we've had so many conversations over the years. I've stayed at so many of your houses, and when we talk swimming, I just continue to learn. Being recognized by your peers is the highest compliment and praise one could ever hope for. I'm very grateful to be recognized, but there are many, some of you sitting right in this room, who are equally or more likely more deserving than I am for this award. And so I just want to say thank you, NISCA, and for getting me started in this. Thanks, Mom. Thank you.